We are going to have a chat on matters agriculture, and this is in line with the 6th African Higher Education Week and Rule Forum biannual conference. And in that regard, we're going to be speaking to John Nganga, who is a student beneficiary from this particular conference. He's from Egerton University, and Irene Akite, who is also a student beneficiary from Gulu University, that is in Uganda. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Wow, I can see you guys are pretty young. You know, we are almost a similar age, and when you go back, right, in the streets, young people, we want cool things, especially when you're going to higher education. Irene, nobody wants to study agriculture. We want to study aviation so that we can be on top there. Why did you choose agriculture?
I chose agriculture because I wanted to go back and help my parents. My parents are farmers, so I wanted to look for solutions to some of the problems that they were facing. So that was my passion for studying agriculture.
Wow, it was passion-based.
Yeah.
You saw your parents do it, and you also wanted to do it so that you can go help them.
Yeah.
John?
Well, in the beginning, I didn't really like agriculture. It was not my choice. And I really had to get conviction from my lecturers when I joined first year for my BSc. And I wanted to be a doctor. I didn't get the top marks or for the entry
grades
to the medical school. So later on, I came to learn I could be a doctor for the crops. So I specialized in the area of plant pathology. So somehow I'm feeling at home.
Wow.
So that is how I came to love agriculture. And all along my schooling period, all the perceptions that I had about agriculture were actually slowly drained away, and I came to like the subject.
Wow, and I love the fact that, your teachers took initiative to help you understand, even as you're joining, what you're going to do for the next, number of years in higher education. Irene, you come from Uganda.
Yes.
Uganda are very good neighbors.
Yes.
Which is a good thing, right? Though we were discussing about Migingo, which is a topic of another day, all right? But tell me the status quo in Uganda in terms of agriculture. Is it something that the country has explored fully, or is there more to be done on matters agriculture in Uganda?
Yeah, agriculture is the backbone of our country, because we have majority of the people living in rural areas, and what they do in rural areas is basically farming. From my understanding, there's still a lot of potential in the agricultural sector in Uganda, and I believe that if we explore it further, surely we shall reach economic development. And this can only be achieved through looking for those opportunities through research and development of different technologies that we can use to utilize these resources in the agriculture sector.
So there's so much potential of agriculture in Uganda.
Yeah.
Back here in Kenya, I'm meant to understand that agriculture, we hear about it and we're like, wow, so I'm going to learn to be a farmer. And even, of course, it's not like conventional farming where you're like learning straight up to be a farmer, but you're a doctor of crops, as you put it. Tell me, why is it that young people, they're not uptaking this particular course? We are having so many young people going into different fields. Of the recent past, you've seen a bulge when it comes to courses to do with art, because more people are becoming artistic and there is that freedom. But in the world of agriculture, it takes some convincing, like was done to you. Why is that so?
I think it really have to do with probably the system of education. We have not really encouraged the young people to look at agriculture as a creative career that they can actually pursue and become even their CEOs in their own farms, in agri farms. So somehow I think it dates back a little bit in history, because most families or most young people have grown up in families where their parents were predominantly farmers, and they have seen the struggles of their parents and their communities around them, the struggle they go through day to day as farmers, and most youth don't like to go through the same kind of experience. So if we could empower the farmers on the grassroots, we could help to change the perception, because young people, as they grow up, they want to be successful. So they identify with successful things. They want to see personalities who are successful. They want to see doctors who are successful. If they can see successful farmers, they would go for that career. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's high time that we start digging deep into agriculture and making it a profession that, you know, people can relate it to success.
Yes.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Now, coming back to you, Irene,
Yes.
on matters higher education, you told me that you just joined university.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you said your parents, you know, they're farmers, and you want to learn more so that you can go back and even, you know, help farming, you know, at home and make it even large scale. What you've learned so far, or your experience in the higher education field in terms of studying agriculture, do you think there is a disconnect, or is there a direct, you know, connection between what you're learning in class and what is really, you know, applied on the ground? Because the complaint has been that our education system, normally we have theory, all right? Theory is very rich, but when it comes to practical, is another issue, totally different, out of touch. What has been your experience so far?
I'm so glad that in my university, our motto is for community transformation. So no student passes through Gulu University without having an interaction with the community. In my bachelor's degree, Bachelor of Agriculture, I was attached in the community for 1 year. So I worked with them, I blended with them, and I faced the problems they were facing, and together we were able to identify the problems, and then we identified the solution together with the lecturers, and we took it back to them. Now at my master's level, I was also still at the same university, and I was still engaged to farmer groups. And that was now the other time I was dealing with individual farmers, but this time around I was working with farmer groups, and still I had the opportunity to work with them. Now as I go to work with them, I take what I've learned from class, and then I integrate with what they know, because I believe that farmers also have experiences, and experiences are also ways of learning. So integrate the two, and we find out what the problem is. Whatever needs research, I bring it to the lecturers around, and we work on it together. So it's like a collaboration. So my experience is that I at least have been engaged with the community, and I've tried to be as practical as possible.
No,
Yeah.
that's amazing. And sometimes, you know, you go to the community level and you're speaking to the people on the ground, and you ask them, okay, we have a school of agriculture, you know, we're teaching our children on matters agriculture, but a farmer tells you, not really, because, you know, I haven't seen those students, I haven't interacted with them, and I haven't seen their output at the end of the day. So that community engagement, I think it's very important. But coming back, Irene has really mentioned extensively on matters, you know, research. Research is very key, I do believe, and it's one of the things that has been lacking, if not African universities or higher education in Africa, even in Kenya. There's been calls for more and more research. Is it something that you know, it's being introduced into the system, John? You as a student going through the system, do you think it's something that they're putting, you know, some sort of emphasis on?
Putting emphasis on
Research.
on research. I think research has always been very key to development of any country and any economy all over the world. Technology has come up because of research. So it has been very key. So the challenge the African nations and university has been having is that over the years, budgets for research has consistently reduced every year. If you look back over the decades, vis-a-vis whatever they were supposed, whatever objective they had, budgets have reduced. And governments in Africa have more priorities which are more urgent to address than research. They have people to feed, so they are all grappling with many issues that are all over, and they do not prioritize research. So it has continued to suffer, and without research, I don't believe that they are going to achieve food security goals in their nations. Yeah.
So there's really need for government to be more intentional when it
Yeah.
comes to research. And you've spoken about funding. It's another huge problem when you speak about people in higher education, be it students, especially young people. The complaint has always been, okay, we have these nice ideas, but nobody is willing to pay for them. Now, Aaron, looking at Uganda now, right? And having gone through the academia and community interaction when it comes to matters of agriculture, what do you think is the gap that we need to fill, right? You from a student level that can impact agriculture, and make agriculture better in this continent. What are some of these gaps?
Yeah, as I said earlier on, and as my colleague said, there is still a huge gap in research because the opportunities exist, but people don't know that these opportunities exist. Another thing is the technologies that we have. The opportunities, for example, in value addition, but we do not have the technologies that can help us exploit some of these opportunities. Now, with the young people, I know one of the major challenges with the young people is the desire for quick money. So in the agricultural sector, I know there are possibilities of getting quick money. For example, if I grow 2 acres of vegetables, in 3 months I have the money. But what do they have the skills in the vegetable production? Do they have the market? Are the roads okay? Because we know that this is a perishable crop. Are the roads okay? Do we have the storage facilities for some of these? So I feel that if that was bridged, then sincerely would have a better
agriculture set in the country of Uganda, in the continent of Africa. And that has been insisted on because I've seen maybe you in Kenya, the challenge has been that in one end, people are starving. In the other end, there is overproduction. Yes. Now, getting this product from one end to the other is a problem. One of it being roads, the cost of fuel, quite a number of issues. And you've said that we have to address those linkages because it's not just agriculture, existing independently, but on other issues. You told me you are a doctor, but you doctor crops, if I may use that term. The other day, was it yesterday, I was having a chat with a medical doctor, and we were discussing cancer extensively. He told me one of the issues is that cancer has become so rampant in Africa, which was not the case initially, and it was because we were eating natural, foods and whatnot. And one of the reasons he pointed out is that people are looking for crops, but they don't know what has been used to grow these crops in terms of the issues, manure or fertilizer that you use in that particular. So set the record straight as a doctor, right? Are some of these manures are dangerous for human consumption? Like, do we have that trickle effect from the crop to the consumers?
Definitely. There is a very huge adulteration of agro inputs. Fertilizers now have more harmful products that can harm human beings. They have over years we have used products such as glyphosate, which have been known actually to even cause cancer. Our farmers over the years have used pesticides and judiciously, so they apply rates that are so high. They are grappling to contain disease, so they end up using a lot of synthetic chemicals, which at the end of the day, these chemicals end up on the table, and the consumers, the consumer who have raw purchasing power, they cannot afford the organic food, continue to use these products, and will eventually, over the years, so we are having these challenges of cancer, other diseases we are not aware where they came from because of what we are pumping in the soil. So you get what you put. It's products in, it's whatever you put in is what you get out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so definitely.
Products in,
Yeah.
products out.
Yeah.
You can call that
garbage
people.
in, garbage out.
Garbage
Yeah.
in, garbage out
Yes.
also.
Yeah.
I coined a new one, people. Products in, products out. It sounds, it sounds
Yeah, sure.
you know, quite friendly. But still on that, just on the same note, you've said that some of these products, you know, have been used over the years, and we know they are harmful. They're still in the market. Why is that? Do we have a policy, you know, mismatch, or, you know, lack of that, you know, intact policies when it comes to agriculture and the products that people use on their farms?
I think one of the reasons why is because probably the cost of the alternative, if you're telling a farmer to probably change the cropping system, adopt an organic system in place of the conventional, there is a cost to it. So if I'm going to leave glyphosate, for example, use other systems that will manage my weeds on the field, it will come with a cost of investment. So I think the challenge is to what is the alternative? If it is coming at a cost, shall I have premium prices for my harvest? And where is this market for those premium products? So the other challenge is, I think, there has not been that vigor from policymakers and from government to actually address the key issues affecting their farmers. So they take so long to make decisions because probably they don't have alternatives.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's that need of urgency
Yeah.
when it comes to even policy setting in the world of agriculture,
Yeah.
to make sure that the products people are using, because these are foods that are being consumed, they're going into people's systems.
Yeah.
It's very key. Aaron,
Yes.
again coming back to the issue of the fact that you are from Uganda. Recently we had a situation with maize in Kenya, right, where we saw that some of the people were getting maize at a cheaper price from your country. Okay, nothing political here, don't get scared, all right? So it's just transactional, and we're asking ourselves, is Uganda's weather better than Kenya's? Most probably we share when it comes to matters weather and the environment. What is Uganda doing that is different, that we have to get maize from Uganda at a cheaper price compared to our country?
To me, I think it was good on your side, but it was actually alarming on our side that maize was going at such a lower price. You know, yeah, there have been a lot of interventions to ensure that maize production is improved. But we also have one challenge with our farmers, that farmers are not market driven. In other words, they produce without looking for the market first. What happened to the maize is that last year, the price of maize was so good. I can say a little good. So majority of the farmers went into production thinking that the same thing would happen this year. And that was just a blast for all of them. So there was mob production, and there was actually no market. That's why the price was so low. And I think the weather really favored maize this time round, because in the first season, there are many crops that actually died, and rice is one of them. But I think it was favoring for maize. It's just unfortunate that the farmers couldn't get what they expected out of that.
And you saying that the farmers should be market driven. What does that really mean? Because you've said they have to do research, produce for the market.
Yes.
Okay. Me as a farmer, I'll sit down and say, you know what, I'm a maize farmer, so I'm gonna produce maize, whatever comes may, yeah, I'll produce maize. So what goes into, being market driven? What are these specifics?
Yeah, like sitting down and saying you would grow maize is not actually the problem. But the problem is if the market is not good at the time of harvest, do you have the capacity to keep it and wait when the market is good or when the prices are up? And then you said it. And if you're keeping it, will you keep it in good condition to fetch those higher prices? Another thing would be, can you get market first? Can you enter into contract farming? Can you have the buyer before production so that at the end of the day, you know what you're working for? And then the other thing is market survey. Yeah, can you do a market survey of what is most likely to be, for example, it can be truly told just by knowing that this time round many farmers grow maize. It is very true that next year few of them will. So you can take advantage of that and you produce, or you can grow any other crop and then cater for that.
So always have your information right as a farmer.
Yeah.
Know what the people want, how much it's fetching.
Yeah.
And yes.
Yeah, just addition on that. Majority of our farmers do not use market information. Yeah, we have information on internet, we have information on radios, but majority of them don't utilize. Some of them don't access internet, some of them don't even have radios at their homes. So they just go into production blindly. Yeah, some of this information are available, but they are not timely. And some of them are also not accurate. So we just have a lot to do with market information and with giving advice to farmers. I would also encourage extension agents to probably support farmers when it comes to enterprise selection for different seasons.
All right.
Yeah.
Wow. In Kenya right here, did we have matters to do with excess, supply? That is something that is quite discussable. But in the interest of time, this particular conference, what has been the benefit to you so far? How have you gained from it so far, starting with you, John?
So this particular conference has really opened my mind to opportunities across the globe. I can make more networks with my friends from Uganda, have an overview of what is happening in the agricultural sector in Uganda, make contacts on people working in a similar field like mine. But most importantly is the themes, aligning myself to the themes and to the visions and to the spirit of the organizers. What is the vision that they have for Africa by the year 2063? So it is a challenge for me that this is the direction to go, that it is me, because most of them by that time maybe they will be gone. So it is probably us, the young generation, who will be remaining at the time. So we are the people to drive the agenda. We are the people who will carry the vision, ourselves and our generations to come. So if we do not take hold now and align ourselves to achieving, what do we really need to see? Do we really want to live like we have lived all the years from independence? Do we want to continue living in the same mess? Okay. Can we make decisive decisions now and say that we are set to change the agenda for Africa as a young generation?
Okay.
So this is a big challenge for me, and it's a big opportunity.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Erin, as we close up, why should somebody apply for this? Maybe the 7th one, because the 6th one you guys have already taken the seats. Why should I apply for the 7th edition of this particular conference as we close up?
Yeah, this is really a big opportunity. a big opportunity for you to showcase yourself, to tell to the whole world what you're doing, and then to share ideas with people. It is also an opportunity, as I said, to network. Yeah, if I was in Uganda, probably I would have not met people in Kenya, would have not met people outside Africa. But this has been a great opportunity. And you know, I believe in sharing. Yeah, if I share what I have with someone else and then he also shares with me as well, I believe that I can learn something new out of it. And as our agenda states, we want to achieve the Africa we want. And from this, I've been able to learn the qualities of young people we want to get the Africa we want.
Wow.
So this has been great for me.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah.
What a powerful way to close this up. The Africa that we want. Irene Akite
Yes.
from Gulu University.
Yes.
John Nganga from Egerton University. Is it Egerton or Egerton?
Well, I think both can do. I
Both
call
can
it
do.
Egerton.
Oh,
Yes.
I see. At home they call it Egerton.
Egerton.
Thank you very much for that interesting discussion that you've had right here. Yes, so that is in line with the 6th Africa Higher Education Weekend Roof Forum by Anya Conference. They are participating, and these are young people speaking and taking interest in agriculture. It's no joke. It's not getting your hands dirty anymore, but it's about sitting down, proper planning, and executing to make sure that the Agenda 2063 of Africa is achieved to the latter. And on that note, we are taking a short break. When we come back, we delve into the world of sports.